Wild Coast FM, your community connection.
Good morning, Sandy. There we go.
How are you doing this morning, Finola?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And hello to everybody listening out there. Little bit chillier this morning,
Oh, yes, I felt it.
but we have to have winter at some stage.
Oh, yes.
And hello to all the children that are at home at the moment because it's school holidays.
It is indeed, and I think moms are starting to wonder, it's only the second day, what are we going to do with the kids?
You're right. But I've been thinking we really need to educate our children, if we can, to do some things in the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
I know when I was younger, we were taught what to do in the kitchen, and my mom instructed us, helped us, so we knew what to do. And so many children I speak to today don't even know how to boil the kettle.
Yes,
They
it's
do
quite
nothing.
scary.
They do nothing. Everything's done for them, and I don't think it's a good idea because as you grow older, you do need to know a few things.
Yes.
And I know it's the world of takeaways and things like that, but still sometimes
You have to resort to home-cooked meals, especially when you're raising families of your own when you get
That's
older.
right.
So
And
eventually, yes.
we all know what money means too these days, and to have to always be buying things is not so funny. But it's fun to be able to do something in the kitchen.
It's nothing better than baking or cooking a meal yourself.
That's right. And the only thing is, it must be when the children are young, you do need supervision.
Absolutely.
You cannot leave your child in the kitchen with all these things that could burn themselves. They can burn themselves, cut their fingers,
yes.
all those sort of things. So please, folks, do supervise. Even if you've got a good helper at home, she can also supervise. I mean, I know a lot of moms work,
That's
and
it.
at least somebody's there to see what they're doing.
Yes.
And there's so many lovely little ideas one can do. And children are hungry, and
They're always
especially in
hungry.
winter, and they're hungry. And of course, cookies and that sort of things are top of the list.
Yes.
But also nice things to do are like little mini pizzas.
That's a nice idea, yes.
It's a very good idea. All you do is, and now you don't necessarily have to make your own dough. You can buy the short crust dough, or you can even buy the ready-made dough at the local spa or at your bakery or wherever you go to.
Okay,
and
yes.
break off little bits of that and just roll it flat. And a good idea is, if you're going to make little ones, is put it in a mini patty pan, or where you bake your muffins in.
Oh, yes.
But get one that's quite flat. You do get them, but they're not so sort of shallow mini.
You get all sorts of nice
That's
ones at the
right.
moment.
And you put it in there. Now, I have made some using just the ordinary short crust dough, and they come out very nicely. Because what you do is then let the kids help you, roll it out a little bit so it's not too thick, and then cut the size that fits to go in your patty pan thing. And then they can start. Put a little bit of sauce, some passata or a bit of tomato sauce will do too. And then they can put their cheese and their...
It's fun. It's creative for them
It's
as well.
very creative. They can, and some don't like this, some like that.
Yes.
And it makes it so much fun.
And then they can perfect it to exactly how they want it.
It's true.
This one wants a little bit of ham. That one wants a little bit of something else.
That's
mushrooms
right.
instead.
And then you've got it all ready there for them, or help them to get it ready, so that they also know what they can put on, what they can't put on.
It's a nice way of getting rid of little leftovers as well.
It is a nice way, because you can use leftovers on there.
yes.
Even a little bit of savoury mince on there with a bit of cheese is absolutely delicious.
Or something like leftover roast chicken. You make a chicken mayo
Absolutely.
pizza or something.
Absolutely. And then into your oven, and then of course that under supervision must be taken out.
Yes.
And I know the children really enjoy that.
Well, not only is it tasty, Sandy, but I think they feel a sense of accomplishment. They've made their own little pizzas.
Absolutely. It's
feel
a good
very
idea.
proud.
It's a good idea. And then I saw a very good idea for apple rings. Now I found this
yes.
quite interesting. They used gala apples, and we do have gala apples here. It's sort of a red-skinned apple, but I suppose a Starking would do also. And cut it into thick slices. Don't peel them.
Okay.
Cut it into thick slices, and then get your cookie cutter and cut the middle bit out so that the core is out.
Okay.
And you're left with a ring.
Yes.
And now
okay.
make a batter.
Okay.
An easy batter. You take a cup of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon.
Oh, yes, always lovely with apples.
Yes, and 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
On one side. On the other side, you have a cup of buttermilk and 1 egg.
Okay.
Beat that together and then combine them all together.
Sounding good already.
Yes, and then get some oil. You use an electric frying pan. You know, if you've got an electric frying pan and you put it on a table where people can reach easier than on the stove if the children are smaller, also just as long as it's supervised, put some oil in the pan, get it to a medium heat, and then dip your apple slices into your batter,
Okay.
and then in that medium heat, put it into the pan and fry it gently until it's nice and golden brown on both sides.
That sounds lovely.
It is. Then you take it out, and in the meantime, have ready some cinnamon and sugar like you would do for pancakes.
Oh, yes.
And then dip that in there and drain it on a kitchen towel.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you, those are absolutely delicious.
And a slightly healthier snack.
And it's slightly healthier snack.
Just slightly because there's apple there.
That's right. And fun to have.
Yeah, something totally different with apples. I didn't think of that.
Yes, it's a very good idea.
Oh,
and
yes.
of course, then we've also got our good old-fashioned pancakes. Not flapjacks, the roll-up pancakes.
Oh, yes.
Also very good, and with all kinds of different fillings. You can let the children get a tin of that caramel condensed
caramel
milk.
treat stuff,
Yes,
yes.
caramel treat, and spread that on. Some banana slices,
Ooh.
all sorts of things. Some Nutella, all those type of things. And what a party they can have.
They will indeed.
So that's a good way to get them into the kitchen and enjoying something.
Well, if you always start with something sweet, they definitely will enjoy themselves.
You're right.
That's nice. You can do your sort of your little mini pizzas just to get that initial hunger out the way, and then they can do something more fun afterwards with the
Yes,
sweet stuff.
that's right. And those roll-up pancakes, are easy to make, but also, if you don't have time and you really want the children to do something, you do buy them, I see, ready-made. Or if you have a chance over the weekend, moms can make a whole batch, put them in the freezer, and the kids can take them out and then fill them and do whatever they want with them. I mean, you can even make savoury ones. So, they can put a bit of leftover mince in there
Yes.
and warm it in the microwave, and there they've got a lovely little meal.
There you go. Super. Sandy, I think we'll take a little break, and then as soon as we come back, what will we be chatting about?
I've got a very interesting meatball recipe that I saw, and I want to give that to us.
Brilliant.
Now, I think I saw this recipe in last week's You, and I know not everybody reads the recipe sections, but it's so easy to make, and all right, the kids can help you with this one, but this is nice for an evening meal, and it's pasta with curried meatballs, which I thought sounds nice. A little bit
Yes.
different. And you just need 300 grams of boerewors. Try and get a good boerewors. And then 15 mils of roasted curry powder and 10 grams of fresh coriander, finely chopped. It makes such a difference.
I can
Then you
imagine.
need a little bit of oil just to fry these little meatballs in.
Okay.
Now, what you do first of all is just squeeze the wors meat out of the sausage casings and mix it with the curry powder and the fresh coriander.
Okay.
And then let the kids help you roll it into little balls.
There we go.
It's nice when they're smallish because you're going to serve this with pasta. And so it's like, as you say, like your spaghetti.
Little bite-sized balls.
Little bite-sized balls. And now, as you were talking, you can make a tomato onion sauce, which is so easy. Take your tin of tomato and onion and add whatever you want to do to it. And once your little meatballs have been browned, just let it simmer in that. Or you can make a creamy sauce, which is also very nice.
Yes.
And for that, you can take an onion chopped and 2 cloves of garlic crushed, 5 centimeters of fresh ginger grated, 5 mils, which is a teaspoon of ground cumin, and a teaspoon of ground coriander, 2 teaspoons of roasted masala, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, a cup of cream, a cup of yogurt, and 2 teaspoons of corn flour dissolved in 15 mils of water, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Now that's quite an interesting kind of a sauce. So it's
I
more
like
of a
the sounds of that.
creamy sauce.
Yes.
You fry your onion, your garlic, and your ginger in the same pan that you've done your meatballs in, and then you add the spices and stir fry for a few seconds. Then add your cream, yogurt, and corn flour paste and mix well. And you simmer that slowly until it's thickened, and season it with the salt and the sugar, and then just mix your little balls through that
Okay.
afterwards, as you say,
So they
and
get-
you serve that with some tagliatelle or some spaghetti.
Even those little shells would probably work
Absolutely. And I mean, that's a lovely little meal. And nice for supper, actually.
too. I'm just thinking like a Parmesan cheese might work with that.
That would
though.
be good too. That would be lovely, yes. And then I did want to just finish off with some crumpets or drop scones or flapjacks, as you call them.
Yes.
And you know, these are so easy to make, and children love making these. I know my kids loved making them. And it's so easy. You take one large egg, 25 mils of sugar, a half a cup of milk, a cup of flour, a little bit of salt, a tablespoon of melted butter, and 4 teaspoons of baking powder.
Okay.
It's quite a lot of baking powder, but it does make them very nice. Now, all you have to do is, I use my electric frying pan.
Okay.
But in the old days, I did have a thick iron griddle, but a lot of people don't have those anymore.
No.
You warm those over the heat. But
Yes.
in the meantime, an electric frying pan does the job
Okay.
quite easily. And it's easy for kids to stand there and be able to turn them and not get burnt, and it's quite useful. Now, what you need to do is beat the egg and gradually add the sugar, then add half of that milk, then sift in the flour and the salt. You mix it well and you add the remaining milk gradually and beat through. Now give your mixture a good beating with a rotary egg beater. Then add the melted butter and lastly stir in your baking powder. Now
Okay.
don't continue to stir the batter after the baking powder's been added.
Yeah, you can
because it
overmix.
gets, you get all your air goes out then, you see, and that makes them tough. And then you
Okay.
grease your hot griddle or your frying pan, and without disturbing the batter too much, drop it in by spoonfuls, and when the bubbles appear on the one side of the crumpet, slip a knife underneath to loosen and quickly turn them over to brown the other side.
Yes.
And when both sides are brown and the edges feel dry, they're cooked, and you put them between the folds of a clean kitchen towel or napkin until you need them, and you serve them with honey, syrup, or butter.
Yes.
And I know they always go down
And
well.
even different jams you can use as well.
Absolutely, and jam and cream, nothing wrong with
Do you know
that.
how nice those are for breakfast though?
Absolutely, I often make mine for breakfast.
Yes, yes.
Instead of them having a slice of toast or something, they have a couple of those and they go down well.
Oh, it's a lovely different breakfast to have.
That's right. Anyway, I hope that there is a chance for mums and kids to get together, if not during the week, maybe over this coming weekend. And they can, and I know lots of mums have got other wonderful ideas, and just, it's good to educate your children. It's good to let them be able to do something in the kitchen.
Well, I'd love to hear from moms if they're going to actually be cooking with their kids.
That's right. And and how they can encourage them to do
Yes.
things. And also teach them to be wise in the kitchen, to know when...
Kitchen safe.
That's right, that the kettle boils, be careful. But it has to start at some stage.
Of course.
And it's good to get them educated in that way.
Oh, yes. Sandy, thank you for giving us some really delicious but easy kitchen recipes for the kids to get
It's
involved with as well.
A pleasure, Finola, and I hope everybody has a good week, and children enjoy your holidays. Mums and dads have a good week and a good weekend. I'll speak to you again next Tuesday.
There we go. Sandy, thank you so
Bye for
much.
now.
Bye-bye.